Oh, and don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that World at War bonus episode. Right, better make a video then. Hello and welcome back to Typical Labs. My name's Kai, and I'm already missing the break I had. Well, hopefully my brain comes up with good jokes now. Today we're playing Hotline Miami, released in 2012 by independent developer Dennerton Games from Sweden. It was released for PC and PS3 and eventually ported to everything except the Xbox One. Yep, there's even a PS Vita version but no love for Xbox, but whatever. You know, I should talk less, and I've just had a cool idea that will let me jump into the game quickly. Roll the tape, as they say. This game is a bit violent, by the way, probably should have mentioned that. In fact, the nanosecond you hit start game, this hobo establishes that he's here to tell me how to kill people. Just a normal tutorial, we'll skip forward. The game then dramatically announces that this is indeed part 1 of the game and not part 2, and our unnamed protagonist walks into a trio of very weird people, wearing masks that talk funny and speak like they're Redditors, using big words and asking lots of questions. Fast forwarding, we're nearly playing the game now, just hold on. Our unnamed protagonist, who we'll call Jacket, like everyone else does, wakes up in 1989 and has gotten a phone call. Tim from the bakery has sent us some cookies. Sweet. Oh, it's not cookies, it's instructions to kill people along with a chicken nut. Well, that could also be fun, so he jumps into his DeLorean. Finally, we're into some gameplay. When you start a level, you can choose from a bunch of masks, each giving an ability, except for the starter's chicken mask. Don't worry, I'll talk about the incredible soundtrack when we get there. Basically, this game is very fast-paced, and you'll need either quick reaction times and a good mouse hand, or the ability to wait by a door for 20 minutes for a guy to walk past. You die in one hit, but so do your enemies, which is nice, but except there are far more enemies than there are yous. Because of the previously mentioned, you will die a lot during the course of the game. Not to worry, the second you die, simply press R, and minus a few very annoying exceptions, you instantly restart at the beginning of the floor, having lost nothing other than your time. Just a fair warning that if this first level took you 10 minutes or more to complete, this game will not be very fun for you, and it's worth preparing your anus right now. The game is very difficult, but it still feels fair. Every time I died, it felt like it was my fault rather than the game's. This is not the case with Hotline Miami 2. There are many weapons in the game at your disposal, some unlocked as you go along, and they all feel particularly fun to use as the game's sound effects are very satisfying, and this is only amplified in the sequel. But let's not talk about that. I'm doing a serious injustice to this game and I don't make it sound very good, but I don't want to go in depth as this video will be too long otherwise. Too long didn't watch version is that if you slightly enjoy a challenge, I genuinely think you'll enjoy this game. When I got it, I didn't think of myself as one that enjoys a challenge, as I get easily frustrated, but I ended up getting a platinum trophy on PlayStation from both games, so you could very well enjoy it too. Hey, here's a quick tip. See the keyboard in front of you? Just unplug it and lob it in the bin! Plug in a PS4 controller, the game is now genuinely 10 times easier, you're welcome. Right, back to the quote-unquote plot. We kill some mobsters, steal a briefcase.
We have taken the enemy intelligence.
And kill the hobo from the tutorial. Jacket, realising he's just murdered like 12 people, throws up, and that's the last time Jacket will show remorse for the rest of the game. You might have noticed the really goddamn nice 80s aesthetic the developers were going for, and they absolutely nailed it on the head. After a mass murder, Jacket pulls up to a convenience store where he meets his friend who we'll call Beard, who hasn't seen him in a while. He gives us free beer, saying it's on the house. Sometime later, one thing that goes unnoticed in this game is the various papers lying around in Jacket's apartment that give some context to the goings-on in the world as a result of his actions. For example, Jacket receives a pink letter thanking him for subscribing to a very patriotic newsletter from an organisation called 50 Blessings, as opposed to 49. He gets another phone call, a certain quote-unquote Linda needs a quote-unquote babysitter. Guns are introduced with this level, and are a powerful tool. They create noise which attracts others, but as you can kill enemies in 1 or 2 shots, it's a risk versus reward kind of thing. The cycle repeats and Jacket pulls up to a pizza shop where the same beard guy makes another appearance. This entire cycle of get phone call, kill dude, go to store is repeated for nearly the entire duration of the game, so I'll just fast forward through some highlights. The third chapter, called Decadence, ends differently, with a mini boss fight with a big guy charging towards Jacket that will one-shot him. Not a problem for him though, as he gouges his eyes out with his thumbs and kidnaps his girl like a massive legend. On the next chapter, called Tension, a masked guy was caught and is in a room strapped with bombs. Shooting the door creates the loudest sound ever recorded by man. The fifth chapter, Full House, has an Easter egg. After going on a rampage with a crowbar, if you walk around the outside of the house, assuming you don't throw it away like a twat, you can use the crowbar to open a manhole, which I won't reveal what the Easter egg is, as it's actually pretty good. The seventh chapter, Neighbours, ends very differently. Just as Jacket goes to leave, a phone goes off instructing him to go to the telephone company where there's a quote-unquote prank caller. Going there, there's a bunch of dead guys and a guy on a computer typing furiously. Well, he wants to kill us, which fails. Apparently he was getting close to finding something out, but see ya, mate! The ninth chapter, Crackdown, ends very differently as well, with the police arriving, resulting in one broken nose courtesy of Jacket.
Then pay with your...
When we go to the store as usual this time, we see dead people and Beard was killed and replaced with some bald guy. The 11th chapter, Deadline, is pretty fun, but it ends with a mostly failed assassination attempt by some guy in a van. Jacket does not take kindly to this and promptly burns his corpse. Spoiler alert, skip to timestamp on screen to avoid what is probably the best moment in the game. Plot-wise at least. When we go home as normal after this level, we come home to find the girl we kidnapped dead. Oops, kinda forgot about her. And Jacket is killed. Nope, magically that did not kill him, and he's just been in a coma for a few weeks. Now we have to play Metal Gear Jacket and not get seen as we escape the hospital without anyone noticing, which is easier than it sounds. After that ordeal, he drives to the police station and fucking kills everyone. Like in World at War, there's another moral choice left up to the player as the devs run out of ideas. Do we kill the bald guy from earlier, or do we not? Nothing is given or taken for killing him, and the same with leaving him be. Way to go. He clears one last building, beats the ever-living shit out of whoever that is, and now has the address of the one responsible for all of this. Supposedly.
Stop! Warning! Spoils! Lots and lots of spoils!
Final boss time. His cats go down, his assistant goes down, and he takes himself down. The phone rings, Grandad is angry, and he gets a bullet through the head. Jacket lights a cigarette and throws a photograph away. And that was Hotline Miami. No lol, just kidding. Remember that biker helmet dude we obliterated? Well, we play as him for a short 2 levels, but not before killing Jacket, making this an alternate timeline. See ya, mate! Finally, we reach the conclusion of the game. It was a janitor. In fact, it was 2 janitors. They tell us that the entire phone call thing was their operation, give no useful information, laugh at the biker, and tell him to fuck off. Luckily, you can kill the 2, and the biker rides off into the moonlight for the actual ending. Guess what? That wasn't the actual ending. Yep, that's 2 fake outs we've had now. Turns out, throughout the course of the entire game, there are small puzzle pieces to be found, each giving a letter for a puzzle. With all the pieces painstakingly collected, they make out to spell, I was born in the USA. Now, replaying the final chapter, there is a computer that's password protected. Biker guesses that it's, I was born in the USA, and nails it first try. Good job. Apparently, the computer spilled the beans, because when he goes down, the 2 are in shock. The gist is, these 2 are people who don't like Russians very much, so they made a fake patriotic group called 50 Blessings. From there, they started calling their members, telling them to go to various places and kill Russian mobsters, threatening them with consequences if they don't do it. Most people bought it, despite there being no actual threat, which is why Jacket and Biker, and as you'll see in the sequel, various other people, started killing Russians. This ending reveals lots, and yes, you can still kill those 2, and makes the fact that Biker was prematurely killed by Jacket quite sad, but trying to take this game seriously is a bit silly, so whatever. Bye. Biker rides off into the moonlight, for real this time, and that was Hotline Miami. Overall, Hotline Miami is a very fun, polished, truly unique, outstanding game, and oh my god, I can't hold it anymore. The soundtrack is fucking incredible, amazing. 10 out of 10. Buy the soundtrack on Steam, even though the game's entire soundtrack can be found in the game's installation folder as .ogg files, but whatever. I can barely describe this incredible album of straight bangers, and the sequel soundtrack is even better, but that will come with time. I'll just play some samples of the soundtrack and not get screwed over by YouTube copyright.
Yeah, the game's good, but what did Barry think in it?
I don't get Hotline Miami. I think I'm getting a bit too old for such a fast-paced game, but I do love the 80s aesthetic and Kai's Elite for once. The soundtrack is pretty fucking good. I'd love it more, but it's just too fucking difficult. You do anything fucking wrong and you die instantly. I like the idea that I have the same amount of health as the enemies, but this isn't exactly fucking balanced when there's one of me and thousands of the fucking bastards. It especially doesn't help on bosses when it replays the dialogue every fucking time you die. I can't think straight right now, so I'll give it a solid 5 Clive Longsword of 10. I really wish you'd stop forcing me to play this fucking shite. How about he plays one of my games for once? Tell you what, I've just had a pretty sharp idea. Give me a minute. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. Well, I can't think of anything to say, so let's get a vote. Oh, a new call from Barry. Oh, well, excuse me one moment while I take this. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Kai, you can drop it right now. I've had enough of you.
Whoa there, what have I done wrong now?
It's your game choices, they're fucking shite.
Well, I'm sorry, but what do you want me to do? Was Hotline Miami too hard for you?
Yes, it fucking was. And I want you to play one of my game choices.
Fine, what did you have in mind?
Well, I haven't thought about it yet, but I guarantee it'll be a lot better, or at least more entertaining than any shite that you've ever picked.
But you enjoyed them,
Shut
Jamal.
up. No, thank you, but I've set up some measures to make sure you actually do as I ask. You'll see.
What do you mean? And he hung up. What a dickhead. Well, sorry about that. Looks like there'll be no voting this time. Oh, what now? Who the hell is Bogdanov? Hello?
Hello sire. Un AFB en informé bimi loyal contacte tout versé taïdement AFB en mai.
Are you sure this is Barry you're talking about?
I, Amiste Barry Battenburg. A son Amiste Battenburg contacte me witigam schwas, un oui forroir et ton toyou.
Okay, thank you.
Juste bas sur aide, sire, t'as un camp personnel garanti ou t'as souille ou faille to accomplish Miste Battenburg task? Te conséquence will be dire.
Sure thing.
Pas vanis de, monsieur.
God damn it. You better pick something good, but you won't considering you gave Hotline Miami a 5 and World at War a 6.5. Well, thank you very much for watching, and take care. God, I talk about soundtracks a lot, don't I?